Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding you to love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, friends, folks, fans, family, followers from around the world? Hope everyone's doing delicious. My boy Lance in the building. What's up, sir? Hope you're doing good. Jill, how are you? She says good morning from Australia. Hope you're doing fantastic. Jill. Don says hey all. What's up, Don? Eric says good afternoon. Got the recording on. It's Tech Giant Tuesday. We're slammed to the gills. Let's dive in. First and foremost, we talked about this setup yesterday. And when I say setup, I mean that I wanted the SPY to close above end of day, stock closing above this price. Obviously, that did not happen. So it seems like the purple line is probably a good representation of what's going to happen. More than likely, of course, doesn't have to, but this is an evening star reversal pattern. This is a retest gap. And we certainly cannot discount the fact that we went from 264 to 280 in about a week's time, which, if I'm doing the math right, is about 14%, aka, I'm sorry, not 14%, 14 points, approximately about let's call it 14 to 16 points, which really is very close to 5%. So I mean, we moved massively far last week. So just throwing all that out there, right? A little bit of an evening star reversal. We did not close above this resistance. So really what I'm waiting for and what I'm going to draw is I'm just going to love to see if something like this happens. So it bounced off the 100 before. Let's see if it'll do it again. So that's what I'm planning. As far as day trading, short-term trading, the SPY bearish, you know, if we gap down or whatever, I'll be looking to day trade it bearish, but I don't have any swing trades set up. You know, so if you're day trading or trading futures or whatever the case is, that's totally fine. Welcome to make a little bit of bearish money in that movement. But just for me personally, looking for it to pull back down and then do its thing. I do have an iron condor on the SPY. The bull pit spread really shouldn't be a problem. It's way down there at 239. I mean, that is far, far down there, like almost 15, 20%. And then the bear call spread is at 285, 286. So today's move definitely helped it a lot. And anyway, that's the SPY. Not a whole heck of a lot going on there. The Qs, very, very obvious, very simple, very pretty. A bunch of white candles gapping up. This is almost the exact candle Stephen King was looking for yesterday on the Qs. Just that 1, 2, 3, 4 type of wave pattern. All-time high, right? White candle gapping up, white candle gapping up, people locking in profit. So this is the retest. So the Qs, chance that this is going to be a weekly options newsletter setup, more or less looking for that pullback into the previous all-time high area and to see if the dip bounces at those levels. Right? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but definitely a possible setup for the weekly options newsletter again to pull back to about that 169 area on the Qs. IWM, out of this IWM setup right here. And again, just because it trades to that resistance level, I was talking about it yesterday. A lot of traders got in bullish back from here early March and just traded right to that nice resistance. Very obvious spot on the IWM. So fully done with that one. And okay, so that's the IWM. And we got one more ETF, which is the Dow Jones ETF, the DIA. And the DIA just really trading sideways, chopping around, very normal, looks good, feels good. Still, as I mentioned a few weeks back, May 1st is going to be the day by which, and that was just a random day, that I still like the opportunity to be quick in and out and look for selling opportunities as far as option selling, look for some waiting periods, and I would love another continuation lower into some areas because now you do have a lower high and we do have some higher lows. So we can see a little bit of a triangle here forming on the Dow Jones. So That's pretty much it on the Dow and the broad markets for Tech Giant Tuesday. Questions, concerns, thoughts, or oppositional viewpoints, feel free to throw them my way. All right. Cool. Well, I will draw that, at least that lower trend line in here on the Dow. So something like this. Something very much like that. And again, you got that higher low from really the 100 symbol. It goes something like this. You know, so we don't necessarily have to draw it all the way back there, but pretty much just going to be consolidating, which is why I got into the condor on the SPYs. So we'll figure out. Clive said, I missed the sirens in the background. I know. No sirens. My siren count for the day in Nashville, Tennessee is 0. Got back early this morning. I've already put in a 13-hour day, and I got about another 10 hours to go. I'm pumped. Let's do it. All right, next, let's go look at some trades. Here's the Wynn, W-Y-N-N, Wynn Hotels and Resorts. So this was a day trade I was looking at the other day. Neil's had a put sale at 143 expiring April 6th. He usually doesn't buy those back early, just lets those expire worthless. This is a retest gap on the Wynn, and I would love a retest gap. Nice little snap back into some moving averages and a dip buying opportunity. So let's continue to keep track on that one. We're going to come back and look at Wynn on Thursday. But, you know, go ahead and start planning it now, or plan in the future what you want it to do. So for me, what I like to do is I say, okay, market, I want to do this. And then I wait a day or two. And then I create an exact price point. And after the price point, you know, meaning when the stock pulls back, after I begin planning what I want it to do, I create that entry, I create the stop, wait another 18 hours, and then if everything looks good, I'll place the trade. So planning about 2 or 3 days in advance on Wynn, looking to buy the dip. This one could be a good opportunity for, again, bull put spreads, put sales, shares, long-term calls, that kind of thing. So that's Wynn. Marios asked, is Facebook on the list? It is right there, my kind friend. All right, so next on the list, we have Burlington, ticker symbol BURL. So Wynn, we're going to watch it. Burlington with an L, BURL. Okay. So it does appear that Burlington Co-Factories didn't quite make a new high. It looks like it's forming a pennant pattern of some kind. A really good gap. This one is going to be a good possibility. So we're going to start waiting for and planning potential breakout on Burlington, some type of close, some type of retest. But I did draw it, and it's so far looking pretty close to what we're going to want to do on Burlington. So again, going to get that set up. We're going to come back and look at that later on in the week. But that one looks really nice on Burlington. AMD, I can add AMD for sure. So here's Alcoa, ticker symbol AA, and Alcoa getting pretty close as well. So again, these are some of the drawings that we did last week. I like to tell the market what I want it to do, so that way I can kind of look at the candles, determine where, when, why, support, resistances, all that jazz. And what we got is so far, I mean, since I drew this, which was on the 9th of March, it did exactly what I've drawn. And so now I was going to look for a little bit of a pullback on Alcoa. So, I mean, you almost got the exact day and the exact penny of where Alcoa was going to go. And that was really based on this resistance right here, that level and that level. So keeping a close eye on Alcoa, going to be watching that one. That one's starting to build pressure. And earnings are about a month away. Believe it or not, earnings season's already almost right around the corner on some stocks again. Long-term moving average is looking good. Going to put Alcoa on the list and, again, just keep tabs on it. That's what I'm doing. I'm creating what I want the stock to do, creating tabs, figuring out what we're going to do from there. FLR. So this was a trade that another trader is in. So as far as the official trades, got all the official trades right here. We looked at a lot of them yesterday. We're going to cover some more today. But FLR, do have one particular trader in this one. I'm not personally, but it did break out. Had a nice pop on the 9th, and then you got filled on that pullback today. for whoever is trading FLR or whoever requested it. So what I will do is we'll just come back and look at that one next week sometime and just kind of keep tabs for whoever might be set up or trading FLR. Hopefully she pops. Cool. Next on the list is Momo, ticker symbol MOMO. And Momo, there's a few traders in this one, actually. So your good buddy Bob has hit himself a $36 put sale expiring this Friday. I got the April covered call at 35, which was originally 85 cents. So right now it's about $3 to buy it back. I will say keep an eye on Momo because this is a nice gap. This is a nice pennant pattern. It's holding up relatively well with the market, and the trend is bullish. Here's your long-term moving averages. You're above all the long-term moving averages. Here's the weekly chart. You're above all the moving averages on the weekly. So if Momo can have some pullbacks, I think it could be a pretty decent buying opportunity. My goal on Momo is to let this, hopefully let it pull back a little bit more into the 20, so somewhere about 34 bucks. Buy back this covered call and then let Momo bounce out of here again. So just for anyone keeping your eyes and tabs and ears open on Momo, that pullback to the 34 level would be really what would look nice. And of course, since we haven't hit the moving averages in a while, this is a pennant pattern. So if your Momo breaks out and makes a new high, got some support resistance, we'll look to buy that pullback and we'll keep tabs on it. But at least directionally, bullish is the way to go, or so it seems on Momo. Oh yeah, Brian, I love it. Okay. So that's what I got. That's what I'm rocking out on Momo. Let's keep grinding. BZUN. Where do we got on BZUN? Give me just a few quick seconds. Where did my mouse go? There it is. BZUN down 3 1/4. Made a new all-time high yesterday. And again, this is a solid retest gap on BZUN. JJ, you in the house? So here's the white candle gapping up. It was a retest gap. Justin Jeffrey was messaging me, really excited about this trade, somewhere around here, asking if you should lock that profit in. And he made some just outrageous amount of R's on this particular trade. Him and Thomas have been trading BZUN for a while. But what's really exciting about this stock is if you go over here to the weekly chart, you'll notice it had a nice trend pretty early on. So it hasn't been around for a long time. It had a nice distribution phase and is broken out of this distribution. So with that daily chart, I mean, you got a very nice, what I could really just take this line and pretty much draw it right about here. You have a pretty decent support resistance on BZUN. So this is one that we really should keep our eyes peeled on. And as far as directionally bullish, doing something a little different than the market, having some different candles, having some different trends, doesn't have tons of history, this would be one of those. Long-term moving averages, pretty far away. So what most traders are going to do on this one is watch for some kind of move like this. Obviously, don't know how big it's going to be, but bull put spreads, put sales, longer-term calls, and or shares on that pullback could be easily an opportunity on BZUN. So just make sure to keep that one on your list. I'm not going to personally trade that one, only because I can't be in everything. Get a few more commas in that account, and then I can finally be like Drake, and then I'll be able to play everything. But until then, BZUN, very nice retest gap action right here. And I'll be looking for a little bit of a pullback. Baidu, B-I-D-U. So this is one that my buddy Kyle Williams up in Michigan was checking out. And this was a very quick move, right? So I think just yesterday or the day before yesterday, which is Friday, Luke Simmons in Belgium was asking me if this is still a quick market to take your gains in. And I said, yes. So this was a very nice bullish gap and go on Baidu and just traded right to that resistance. This one obviously didn't quite get there, but just a quick little move, take your profits. I mean, it's still choppy. If you can get good gains and you can get them fast, I mean, I think it's just probably better just to take them off the table and move on. But Baidu, I mean, that is a evening star reversal pattern. That is it. That is like a 9.3162 out of 10. That is pretty high as far as evening star reversal patterns go. Milo says, is Baidu in a channel? It looks like it. Yep, it does. And I wouldn't mind having some bearish exposure out there on Baidu. It's a little bit more of an expensive stock for options, unfortunately. I'd have to go out to something like April, and if I did a 275, so I can only do 280, 280. Wait a minute. Why is there so much premium up there? Baidu. April 26th. According to Thinkorswim is the earnings. So a 280, which is like, I mean, that's 22 points away. 280, I could sell for $3, and I could buy the 290 for $1.70. My option fans, does that look right? A 280, this is April, because I'm gonna have to do this trade if that's the case. Can sell for $3. Oh, 290. Okay, I'm doing the math a little bit wrong. 290. It's still good premium, but honestly, I was thinking it's not $5. It's $10 of margin. Okay, so $3. So this is $1.70 up here. So the difference between that is $1.30. About 13% ROI. Really not that bad, actually, on Baidu. Well, I wouldn't mind having a bearish position, at least even one out there. I do have a bearish position on the SPY technically, and also on Tesla with an iron condor. This looks like the top of a channel. This has been the third time it's up here, and spread trigger 280, 290. 280, 290, April, bear call spread, $1.30 limit. Just get on a $10 margin. It won't be a lot of, I mean, just one contract is $1,000 of margin. So just keep that in mind. It's pretty heavy-handed. And then I'm gonna clone this one. Okay, spread, exit. I don't think I'm gonna unravel. Probably would just exit price with a close. And then this one would be I change all those. Spread trigger. Trigger / order price for spread. Meaning that's an evening star reversal and it needs to break below that price. Dan says, is that April 20th? Yep, just regular April. If I just say the month, it's always regular the month. I'll always specify what week it is if it's not, yeah, so always the third week of the month. Great question though. Okay, and this is obviously evening star reversal pattern. Evening star. Let's make that a different color. Now, again, if you've never done a trade like this before, do it virtually. I'm on a hot streak with spreads right now. I haven't lost on one since I think August or something. Mario says, what's regular? The third week of every month. Sorry, I'll just start spelling it out, guys. I apologize. I'm making it confusing. 2018. All right, evening star, Baidu, bear call spread. Let's see if this evening star reversal plays out. I will buy to close this spread if given the opportunity for a nice gain, and or leg into a bull put spread to complete a condor. My girl Mila thinking this is a channel. Angel said, actually the third Friday of the month. That is correct. Third Friday of every month is option expiration Friday for the regular front month options. Third Friday of every single month. Chart patterns. Otherwise, it's a weekly. It's not the third Friday of that month. Okay, Baidu, bear call spread. Okay, Mary says it's the Saturday following the third Friday. If the option closes out of the money on the market close on Friday, the positions are reflected that Saturday morning. But since U.S. markets are closed on Saturday, Fridays are often deemed as the effective expiration date. But you are correct. On Saturday, right after the option expiration, the position will no longer be in your broker or on your positions tab. Yep. Yeah. So this is going in the credit spreads current month. We got a lot for April because this is, I mean, there's a lot of volatility in the market right now and a lot of sideways. So that's why you start seeing me hop into this, which doesn't mean it's going to work, but it means it could. 280, 290, target credit, $1.30. And again, April. I'll just start putting regular April 20th, 2018. Okay, and looking for bear call spread, throwing that in there, and that's that. So we'll see. Okay, that's Baidu. And again, this is the 275.94 is the all-time high, so we close above there, and then yeah, I'll probably just exit that spread. Now, could you play that short stock or buy some puts or something on Baidu? Sure. Again, it kind of depends on how you want to play it, but that's what we got. It also means the market's going to break out of this channel at some point, and woo, exactly. Channels do break out at some level, some magnitude, but again, I'd love a pullback again on Baidu to retest some of these levels and buy the dip. Looks beautiful. Okay, that is Baidu. Next on the list is CSCO. CSCO, Cisco Systems, made a new high today. And as you might have guessed, evening star reversal. An ugly one, though. This one's a little bit uglier. So remember, this is a retest gap right here that occurred on earnings on the 14th. This is another retest gap on the 8th and 9th of Cisco. So what I would prefer, I'm not saying this is going to happen, what I would prefer is just a nice pullback all the way into this gap, and that's where you'd be looking to buy. Is that going to occur? Probably not, but if it does, buy the weakness, hashtag buy the dip, hashtag buy the salsa, hashtag I love queso and chips. So realistically, just like it did back in here, right, when you get that quick flash, be prepared for it. That doesn't mean you have to have an open order on every single trade. That just means if you requested Cisco for anyone who was looking at it, for anyone who was potentially wanting to play it, you could just have an order sitting down here at the 50 if that's what you want to do, around 42.5. Puke order, just in case. Otherwise, I'd probably wait on Cisco, but realistically, the pullback into here would make the most sense, in my opinion. So, looks good. All right, I do have to add Tesla to the list today because we did do a new official trade on that one. So that's Cisco. Here's VIAB. Oops, that's not it. VIAB, Viacom. So Clive was going bullish off the 50 EMA. It traded down to the 50 EMA on the 9th, and she's working on bouncing. So Clive, high five. Good job for following your plan. We'll see if that puppy works. I will put that on the list for next Tech Giant Tuesday, and hopefully between now and then, she has bounced and gone to $104 a share for you. Unlikely, but I can always hope for you, my man. I can always hope. All right. Next on the list is the famous PayPal. So PayPal, a little bit of a lower shadow. I did mention later this week that we're going to increase this stop on PayPal. So now I'm going to be putting the stop to 77.79. I do like the lower shadow today, and I'm going to make a very clear plan in my rule. Make a very clear rule in my plan for what I'm going to do on PayPal. As we can all see, we're not losing on the trade, but it's not amazing. Updating stop on PayPal swing. So some traders did exit today, which if you did, that's totally fine. My rule is going to be a close above 81.27. So here's going to be my exit plan. This is me telling my future me what I'm going to do in a given situation. If PayPal does not close above 81.30 by 12 noon on Friday, 12 noon Eastern on Friday, and we are still profitable, let's close it out and move on. Why 12 noon? I mean, it could be anytime you want. I just know I'll be around the computer at that time. That'll be a new high, 81.30. So if it closes above there, it hasn't closed above that since, well, really January 17th. So we've gotten a bunch of upper shadows. I do like the lower shadow today. It's not bad. And I like it off the moving averages. So, you know, here's the weekly. It still looks good, just kind of a slower grind. Obviously, it looked fantastic. And again, if you exited on the 28th of February, consider yourself a legend. I really thought about it, but I didn't. Lance got out of PayPal for half an hour today to free up some cash, which, hey, I totally understand. There are about 3 or 4 other traders that messaged me today who got out of PayPal for about half an hour. If you did that, that's okay. No big deal. This was going to be a bill paying trade. And again, I really should have snagged it and hopped in on the 28th and got in and got out. I'm going to ask him about CF. I will put that on the list for tomorrow. So that's PayPal adjusted. JP Morgan. So JP, it pulled back today. And yes, this is a little bit of an evening star reversal, but you also have a double bottom right here. So there's a little bit of a double bottom, and here's kind of the neckline. And yes, this is an evening star. Which one's going to win, Patriots or Eagles? We will see. I'm going to figure out the game's going to be played because you got a little bit of a double bottom and you got a little bit of an evening star. It's a pure battle, really good grind. We did get filled on the pullback. So here's that weekly chart. Again, the weekly chart looks good. Our stop is below the 10 EMA on the weekly. And if you have a good bullish day tomorrow or next day, JP Morgan could really work out. Again, it very well might not as well, but the trend looks nice. Jaden does have a covered call expiring not too far in the distant future, and he'll be super happy to get that call, expire worthless, keep his shares, and then turn around and do that one mo again, a little bit on the later side. That's JP Morgan. TCHEY, EHY, Tennyson Holdings. This has been a wild one for a while, like that Rihanna song. And obviously it's an ADR, meaning it gaps every day, American Depository Receipt. It's been just an absolute scorcher. So 2017 stock went from $24 to, $56, huge move. It did bounce off the 100 symbol very nicely with an obvious hammer back here on the 9th of February. So I'm not saying it's going to pull back there again. We'll kind of keep an eye on and see what ends up happening. But what I can say is a little bit of a lower shadow, or not lower shadow, lower high, higher low looks a little bit like the market. So again, if we get some more pullbacks on just some general stocks, we are chopping around. Don't be afraid to buy the dip. You've gotten a few choices and a few opportunities on certain select stocks. So if it happens again on the one that you're requesting or the one that you are looking at, folks, it's been working. So it's all about just being patient and surviving the choppy markets so that you can get into the good ones. U.S. Steel. I did get stopped out today on U.S. Steel. Some of you did move your stops when Brad was doing the room. And if you did that, congratulations. That's just because he's better than I am in all facets of life. But this morning, a lot of you day trade this thing for some bearish gains. So for those of you who did that, congratulations. The challenge for me on U.S. Steel is I was traveling this morning. I did see the gap. It was a gap and go. I was going to move my stop to right there. But due to the airports and airport internet and traveling and TSA and just all kinds of wild stuff, I didn't get a chance to move it. Good news is, though, I lost exactly 1 R. I trade U.S. Steel all the time. So since that's the case, I'll get it back. That's about it. So looking at this to trade right down to the 50. My good buddy Iberto was looking at buying it off the 50. I'll figure out exactly how to play U.S. Steel again. I'm kicking myself a little bit because we got in here almost flawlessly. I'm kicking myself a little bit for not exiting there, but it did not hit 1 R. If that 2 or 3 days later would have hit 1 R, we would have gotten out right there, but it just didn't. And yeah, U.S. Steel should be spiking because of the tariffs, and it's kind of strange that it's not. It's kind of just totally bamboozling people. So we'll see. I think it'll pull back a little bit more. It'll give us a buying opportunity. We'll see how low it goes. My guess, realistically, we trade back down into 36 area just to make sure everyone who thought it was easy bullish money will lose, and that's where I'll look to try it again. That's just my thought, though. Could be wrong. Now, if you trade the hourly chart on U.S. Steel, it is now below the 50 EMA pretty nicely. It's right at the 50. So I will throw it out there that if U.S. Steel trades sideways for a little bit and starts breaking down, for my active traders, I'm looking for a breakdown of this bullish candle. I will get my R back from U.S. Steel, that particular R. And I think last year on U.S. Steel alone, just 2017, because I had covered calls and put sales and all kinds of stuff. And again, I trade U.S. Steel pretty often. I think I made about 14 R's just on U.S. Steel last year. So we'll see if this thing can break down, what it can end up doing, and yeah, that's the hourly time frame. Robert says lots of countries are applying for exemptions for the tariffs, and Trump seems to be willing to give them to some countries. Yeah, good old exemptions. Anyway, that's U.S. Steel. Had a nice move, and you know, I still like it on this big term breakout. Martha says, what do you prefer trading on U.S. Steel? I prefer buying shares and selling options like calls or puts. Mario says, how do you draw the circle? You can come over here to this paintbrush and where it says ellipse. There you go. Martha says, naked puts and covered calls. That is correct. Every now and then I'll buy calls and buy puts, but I've just always liked trading shares. It's just my thing. I've always been good at it. It makes sense to me. I can trade options, but I've made much more money just trading stocks, buying stocks, selling options than I have buying calls or buying puts. Every now and then I'll have one big win, and that's really all that matters. You just have one really good trade with options. Again, this is just me personally, but yeah, shares just always made more sense. Clive says, I like X going down to your trend line for a target. I can dig that. I think it's a good area. Somewhere around that 36. I'm with you. All right, next on the list is Box, B-O-X. Box, getting shredded. 3 days on earnings, just got massacred, but trade down to a support, right? So retest gap, black candle, gapping down, and it trade down to a support of some kind. This was like an $18 support level, so put sales or bull put spreads or something down there would have been cool. Otherwise, on BOX, I don't have any position on this one personally. This is the weekly chart. Pretty obvious spot, if I do say so myself, for some resistance to come in, right? So at this level, expect BOX to channel a little bit more. So my thought is we rotate down a little bit and then start getting another bounce. So this rotation, very similar to that rotation that we drew on Amazon yesterday in Mentorship Monday, right? That quick drop, big bullish move, something like that. That's how double bottoms are formed. Get the people who bought here, they bought there, they begin to buy, make money. The people who shorted there and made money, they begin to short. And then the buyers who bought, they begin to sell to lock in their profits, cause that rotation over. And you have the green traders who bought there and bought here and made money, and they begin to buy, and then again that props up the stock, and then the cycle repeats itself. So, like Clive says, is it not a cup and handle pattern on the weekly? It depends on how you look at it. I would have to argue yes, though. There could be a few different patterns here on BOX. A giant one. Ah, so this, I could see that. This one would be fun for this to break out for sure. But what I could say is on this pullback right here, that would be really the long area that you'd be looking at going on. So should be good. Should be good. Marios says, is there a way to hide the moving averages on some time frames? Sure. Just create a template that is just candles and no moving averages. That's what I do. So I have a template that is just, this J stands for just candlesticks and volumes. So we shall see. It is brutally sideways, as Marta is bringing out, though. Very, very sideways. We'll see. I like the double bottom kind of perspective a little bit more. So there's the big double bottom. It did retest that neckline, and that's really what caused it to pop. From there, I'll probably chop around a little bit, but again, big resistance, really good support around this 18 level. I'm not personally playing box, but I know my buddy Matt and a few other traders are, so that's my analysis. Wait for a little bit more of a pullback and then buy the dip. iRobot, IRBT. So iRobot, here is the daily chart. And this one's just trading back up to resistance. I forget where Bob might have a covered call on this one. This was a trade that almost, based on some analysis I did on the 23rd, once that candle broke out, I said, hey, just look to buy the pullback. 63.95 was the stop on that analysis, and the lows of these candles got within about a dime of that level. So if you did play this, you made a little bit of money. It's a pennant pattern, so or some type of small triangle. So since there was a pretty strong gap right there, and we're looking for a bunch of bearish candles, you probably would want a close above 72.15 to go bullish on that one. Here's the long-term moving averages, and again, you got the 100 right there. So as what I see, iRobot is more of a longer-term play based off of the weekly 100. Meaning you buy it 4 or 5 months later, you come back and see if it's going higher. If you have a Roomba or some type of iRobot product, you could put in 100, 200, 300 bucks towards the stock and see if it can, make you just a 20% off coupon for the product or whatever it is. But again, a little bit of a longer term perspective, more on the weekly, shorter term on the daily. I don't like it for a bill payer, at least not right now. Anyway, that's my thoughts on iRobot, but I think Bob has a little bit of a longer term approach on it anyway. Morgan Stanley, ticker symbol MS. We still got a limit buy set up on that one. And that looks like almost for sure it's going to trigger tomorrow. So what I think we could do is drop our entry right about there, 57.43. So just giving it a few more pennies. So we're going to update that to 57.43 on Morgan Stanley. Again, just looking for a pullback, very small update, but it's a gnarly candle. Okay, pop it over here. Lowering entry just a bit on Morgan Stanley. And this could be one that we get stopped out on JP Morgan, but we make money on Morgan Stanley. It's a new all-time high. This is just a retest of the new all-time high. Old resistance, new support in a bullish market, in a bullish trend to see if this does in fact continue higher or not. So Morgan Stanley just dropping that price a penny or two, a few pennies actually. ETP, we're going to look at more tomorrow. Probably end up canceling this one or maybe just adjusting it. But right now, Brad has a 17.49 as the stop. So he wants it to do this, this, and then that on Energy Transfer Partners for a bearish swing trade. Energies have been just getting wrecked over the last few months. Interesting that that's occurring. I thought they'd be a little bit more bullish in 2018, but I guess I was wrong. Still have a long way to go to tell for sure, but at this present moment in time, the only energy that I can recently remember making money off of is British Petroleum, which has always been my go-to. Next on the list is Under Armour, UAA, and Under Armour. This is one that a few people have been waiting for, a potential longer-term move. Right, so this is the weekly chart, and you'll notice a double bottom pattern forming on Under Armour. Now, this could be one that your children or young adults or your kids play, because this is a little bit of a cheaper stock if they wear Under Armour. Obviously, you don't know if the trade's going to work or not, but you could put in a few hundo. Maybe they'll, maybe that might spark their interest potentially. But it is pulling back pretty strongly. So this is the monthly chart. So it's down here. And this is really where accumulation processes kind of begin anyway. So with this move, we'll see exactly how long she chops around down here on Under Armour. My trigger was if it broke above 17.92 with a protective put at 15.69 would kind of be the way to go. If you want to buy it a little bit cheaper than that, you could probably start picking up some shares again, more for a longer term accumulation kind of a play. Right now, though, for a short-term swing trade, I don't see anything on Under Armour. Next on the list is Southwest Airlines, ticker symbol LUV, and we did get triggered into Southwest Airlines today, and it doesn't look bad. I like the bullish gap and go. I like the fact that we got triggered in, and will the trade work? Fingers crossed. How cool would that be to actually have a winning bullish trade, right? So Southwest got triggered in, going to leave the stop in there for probably 2 or 3 days at least. You're above all the moving averages. I will say, again, fast market, 62.03 is the 2R target, and one could only hope that we hit that. But again, if it starts running and the market's crashing and you want to bail on Southwest for a small gain, this is going to be an aggressive trade. It's still a fast market. I will exit all at 2R if we hit it based on this trade. My buddy Robert has some shares. A few other people have some shares at Southwest. I just flew Southwest. Great company. Weekly chart looks good, above all moving averages. So we'll see. Best case scenario, I would love to get up into the 64 area. I will hold Southwest because as of right now, it's like an instant profit. So it depends on how well it continues to play out. But if all the other trades are going well and everything's all right, and I got like a little bit of a cushion for March, I'll hold it longer. If I need to lock in some gains, because right now March is a battle. I'll have a little bit better, some gains realized at the end of the week with some options expiring, but I only got about 2.5 weeks left. And I'm sitting at about 4 Rs on the month. So we'll see. That's Southwest. Next on the list, Acacia. This one felt real good today. ACIA, Acacia Technologies. Type in a 3 if you got a chance to do this put sale with me. So this is one that I did back in here, and you just had tons of bullish volume, huge bullish candles, off of support, buy low, sell high. There was 90 cents of premium down there. That is 2%. Actually a little bit better than 2%, almost 3 on Acacia Communications. You had a white candle gapping up on Friday. So yesterday I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this bad boy back pretty soon because it's all the way out there for April. And I was able to buy it back today for 20 cents. Sold it for 90. 2 weeks later, buying it back for 20 cents. That's a 70-cent gain, which is 2%. 2 R's on ACIA, Acacia Communications. So that felt really good. Still a good one to keep your eyes on, though. I don't think this is fully done. I think we should come back and look at this one a little bit more in depth Thursday. But I like that retest. Nice lower shadow. If this thing can start trading sideways, Acacia could become interesting. Look at that gap on the weekly. Here's your exponential moving averages. So you got the 50 on the weekly there. I get it. I'll just put that there so we have it. But, you know, it's not bad. 50 EMA on weekly. Okay. Next on the list is Home Depot, ticker symbol HD. Home Depot looking like it really wants to come down a little bit lower. I'm not saying it will, but it looks like it does. This is some kind of strong, either wave 3 or the end of some kind of wave 5, but this looks like an A, B, C corrective cycle. We're going to get down to about 169.25, possibly. Yeah, not saying it will happen for sure, but we'll know if and when. I mean, this is a pretty good evening star reversal pattern on Home Depot right here. It's not bad. So obviously, here's your support. If we start making some lower lows tomorrow and lower highs, I think with that volume coming in, I'd probably keep your eyes on Home Depot for some shorter term bearish trades. I'm gonna jot that one down myself. Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday morning, HD bearish. Just question mark, just to watch it, because that's a nice evening star. Robert says, I exited this today for 30 bucks. Did not like the way it was shaping up. All right. Hey, you're allowed to in this market if you plan it in advance. All right, that's what's going to be the goal. Plan it in advance. Get in, get out quickly, make your money, move on to something else. This market's going to be fast and turbulent. And again, for my option traders, let's just have a good time selling that sideways motion. Berkshire Hathaway's traded up to a resistance. Right, Berkshire, the B class shares, we were just here a few days ago, and we sold off. So very similar to the market. You got a retest gap, broke above all your moving averages back in here. So we probably rotate back down. Again, more than likely, we don't have to, but it's likely on Berkshire. So you got a chance to peel off a little bit of a profit at the exact same place that we rolled over last time, about a month, 2-3 weeks ago. Cool. And if Berkshire Hathaway pulls back down to the 100 simple moving average, that would be a pretty swimmingly beautiful spot to buy the dip. Garmin, one of the stocks that was higher today at one point, had a little bit of a bullish gap for Angela. So Angela is in Garmin, and it's slowly creeping higher. The gap on the hourly chart on this one did look pretty good. So if you're playing the hourly, I don't know how long you've been in this trade exactly, but I feel like it's been about a week and a half. So you could probably take the stop at this point, Angela, and move it up to about $60.37. At least that's where I would have mine, and hopefully that locks in a little bit of a gain. And then 2 or 3 days later, probably move the stop up to about there and lock in a little bit more profit and just slowly start trailing this one on Garmin. But I do like that gap today. Let's hope for a continuation tomorrow. JD.com. Hi, I'm JD. JD.com. So JD, I was looking for a bullish limit buy, 43.85 with a stop at 41.78. Obviously, this is the retest today, and it got real close to that limit entry, but it did not trigger it. So with something like that, getting that close, and obviously today is the pullback. If this didn't trigger, I'm just going to cancel the trade. And we do have a bull put spread. Some traders have some put sales. It's very far away, 36, 35. That is still, I mean, 20% away on JD.com. Here's your long-term moving averages. We might come all the way back down to those long terms. So I'll be watching for that on JD as a possible bounce. But until then, got the spread. Just going to leave it alone and let that one do its thing. My buddy George wants to put Dick's Sporting Goods on the list. All right, I'll put on the list for tomorrow. DKS. WUBA. WUBA. Big double bottom. Had a pretty good bullish candle right here. This should be the bouncing spot on this one if it's going to. Pretty solid evening star. I don't see anything short term to be excited about on WUBA. But if you are bullish on this one, I'd probably have my stop below the low of today's candle on WUBA. And hopefully that'll be a small profit for you. If it breaks lower, try to see if you can pick it up back at 70 and just try that one again on a buy the dip. Again, depends on your time frame, of course, too. If you're a little bit of longer terms, let it slowly keep grinding away. OKTA. OKTA. Yeah, this thing has been scorching. Software company. It definitely retested. It's a little, I mean, this would really be the pullback, would be right there, right above the high of that bearish candle, 39.92 with a stop, pretty much below the stop of this candle, 38.61. So, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna wait on this one. I feel like as soon as I pulled it up, I was like, man, I feel like I missed that trade. I feel like I missed it. Earnings is pretty much right around. It was already here. I think this was the earnings gap. It's not a bad move though. I think these are trade sideways a little longer. Let me come back to that one and put it on the list for Friday, and just see what she does. All right, here's Square, ticker symbol SQ, Square, nice little lower shadow today. So your boy Brian Weber has himself a $55 March, which is this Friday, covered call. Can take this price up, and I'm gonna put a support level here at 47.20. If we do retest, I think that's where. Obviously, there's a nice support resistance right about there. So if you're looking at buying the dip on Square, since it did break out of a triangle, it will be retesting that to some degree. So you could always snag a little bit of a position here at about 50 and then snag a little bit more of a position on a pullback at 46. Robert Falco sold a $40 put sale for June on SQ, and I love a pullback on it. Looks fantastic. So if you get a pullback and you're planning on buying Square, I mean, there's a lot of traders that are playing this one. I will say it makes a lot of sense to me for this thing to retest that triangle in a nice way. So we can pull all the way back to 46. I think that does happen, but saying if you're playing the pullback a little bit more aggressively and you get stopped out, that's all right. Cool. Try again and pull back into 46. I think that would be nice if that happens. If that happens. And if it doesn't, that's great. I mean, a pullback, 48, 47 would be good enough, but somewhere in this zone makes a lot of sense to me. Could we just bounce and keep crushing it tomorrow? Yeah. Yep, we could. And if we do, anyone who got in bullish today will be happy about that. So that's Square. ARKK, which is an ETF, ARK Innovation, making new all-time highs just recently. And this is another ETF you can have a lot of fun with researching kind of what they do and researching some of the stocks in this ETF. All-time high. This is probably where you would have been selling. And I think a pullback would make sense on ARK, right? So a pullback to 42 or something makes sense. So, yeah, that's all I can tell you on ARK. Pull back to 42, buy the dip. Again, that's an evening star. A lot of evening star reversal patterns out there today. General Electric, ticker symbol GE, going single digits, folks. Keep saying it. Dean, I think, tried to play this one bullish, and I believe he got stopped out today if he did take that trade bullish. There's another trader out there who traded it bullish for a quick, just a very fast in and out. I was planning on shorting it off of the 50 EMA. Didn't quite get there. So GE, not the toughest thing to trade bearish necessarily when you're day trading, but very voluminous. Is that the word? Good bid-ask spread. Very liquid. 118 million shares traded today. Christian's in some April puts on GE. Nice. Okay, man. Well, I like that gap. I like that volume. I hope you make some money on those puts. GE. Trend is certainly not bullish. Voluminous. Voluminous. Okay. Got it. Thanks. Here's TD Ameritrade, AMTD. And TD, like most of the financials, going higher. Strong bullish trends. This is the monthly chart. And all I can say on TD is this. What a weird spot to buy. Personally, not buying here on AMTD. All I can say is previous resistance. Robert says, is this where the noobs will hop on? That is correct. So bearish to neutral, expect some distribution. Expect some distribution to come in, at least buy a dip or pullback rather than a breakout, or lock in some profits here. Kronk says, but it could break out. I know. Sure could. This time it'll be different. Yeah. So that's why I will throw it on there. So that's TD Ameritrade. I still argue that this is exactly what the Bitcoin chart's going to look like, except instead of a monthly chart, it'll be like a weekly chart, where we're probably right about here on the grand scheme of Bitcoin. Just my opinion, but I've studied a lot of hyperbolic price extensions, and they all look very similar. But all of you guys know that who subscribe to the IR4 podcast. Been talking about it for months now. All right, so that is TD Ameritrade, and that's just my analysis on that one. Here is Fitbit coming around the corner, ticker symbol FIT. And Fitbit, the definition of a bearish trend, it's trying to do something cool. And as you might remember, before I went to my vacation, I was saying, hey guys, if you want to play the close or the breakout above this high wave candle, go for it. Right, close over there. Looked very much like GoPro. Just a good high wave candle, and it did not close below the low, closed above the high, which was right there, and then it retested it. So if you're already at the 50, Fitbit has a hard time proving itself bullish. So if you're making some bullish money on Fitbit, good. Probably hop out and or at least hop out of some, move up your stop and look to peel off the rest of these long-term moving averages. It's still in a massive bearish trend. Could this be the bottom of Fitbit and we start making some bullish moves? Possibly. Again, I'd be kind of surprised if they, being the general markets, let this new IPO just abysmally fail in the first 2 years. Probably get some type of buyout offer, best case scenario, but here's your MACD. And there is well, it's not really any divergence because it's been just trading sideways for a long time. Let me pull up RSI. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of bullish divergence down here. Yeah, there's a little bit. There's a little bit. I would say on Fitbit, I mean, if you're playing it bullish, just don't expect anything phenomenal to happen. You could also do an absolute zero on the stock, right? So that way you could lose less than zero. I mean, or you could do like a crazy stock risk, like $5 with a $2 stop and have a $3.29 stop just in case. So just in case it pops a little bit, oh, cool, I made half an R. You know, or if you forget about it and it doesn't like this, then you make 2 or 3 Rs. Always a possibility, but personally, I don't have any position on Fitbits. I would love to know if this is the actual bottom and the market just starts cranking and Fitbit's a huge runner. If you're thinking about it, the only suggestion I would make is if you're in that camp, you better own a Fitbit and do a lot of research on the product, and you better really like it. If you don't own a Fitbit and you don't like the product and you don't know what it does, then I would not look to be buying down here. That's the camp that I'm in. I mean, I know what it does. I just don't own one. So Kyle Williams asked for lumber liquidators earlier. And Robert says Apple Watch is crushing them. I have to agree. Here's the 100-200 simple on a weekly chart on lumber liquidators, long lower shadow. This was a great spot to buy about 10% ago on lumber liquidators on the weekly. Here's the daily. And again, the move has pretty much already occurred bullish. So on lumber liquidators, like most of the market, watch for the pullback back down again into that level and then look to buy the dip. What if that doesn't happen? Here's your nice resistance. Wait for a close above that price. I prefer the dip buying opportunity on lumber liquidators. Next on the list is Overstock. OSTK, earnings right around the corner on Overstock. So we'll get to see what this one does. It looks very weak, however, really weak on Overstock.com. Earnings are this week, according to Thinkorswim. And just be interested to see what this one ends up doing. One, if you're looking at playing it, you probably would want to play with options, a $70 and then a 75 April bear call spread. You could get $1 and then you could get 70 cents. So you get 25 cents for that, which is pretty measly. It's pretty terrible. And you could probably buy, I just wouldn't do it. Implied volatility is too high right now for an option play. And then the bid-ask spread is not that good to sell it. So I would probably just stay away from Overstock. Bottom line, we'll come back to it later this week. See if it gaps down to that $40 area. And if it does that, right, if it gaps down to here, fade that thing all day. Facebook, just trading back up to its exact resistance of, again, 2 weeks ago. Here's the resistance. Right, the exact same spot where it sold off last time. It's kind of pulling back again. This is an evening star reversal. Your girl Ash was calling this one right about here when she was asking why it was selling off so hard. And it did. It continued to sell off, as did the Qs, right? Because it was just all-time high area. So a lot of traders have some bull put spreads expiring this Friday. Tons and tons and tons. So if you're one of those, congrats. I would love if Facebook comes back down to here. Is that going to occur? Probably not, but I can't say for sure. Never can. So if it comes back down to 172, everyone has another shot at buying low and selling high again on Facebook. If you're going to play it bearish, day trade it or very, very quick trade. Right? If you're playing it bearish, just a quick in and out, hours, days at the most, minutes, seconds, just because the trend is bullish and that has the most movement behind it. So look forward to trade down into here. All right, Marios, he says he has some 170 puts short. Thank you for letting me know, buddy. I appreciate it. So I like the Evening Star. We got it on the list for Friday. We're going to come back and look at it on Friday on Facebook. And AMD was a big winner for a lot of traders today, thanks to Drake Russell. So Drake sometime yesterday was messaging me about puts way the heck down here at $9 for April, having some premium. So I posted out on TradingView, posted in Slack, told as many people as I could about it. A lot of traders have an $11 put sale expiring this Friday. So 3 more days. That's Greg, Drake, a few others. Mike Oshman has a $10 put sale expiring this Friday. And on those put sales at $9, I mean, the premium started evaporating pretty quickly. And right now they're worth about 30 cents. So on some magnitude later this week or next week, I'll probably just buy those back if the premium just really gets evaporated. Otherwise, I might just sit back and let that do its thing, because here's the weekly on AMD and the 100 simple moving average is like right here. So I feel like that's a pretty safe put sale, but we shall see. Javier did his first put sale as well. So thanks for letting me know, Javier, and sending that my way. A lot of people playing AMD put sales right now because it isn't a channel. Buy low, sell high. That's the thought process on AMD right now. Implied volatility is high for my option traders. We'll come back and look at it again on Friday, but that put sale at 9 looks real toasty. And last but not least is an Iron Condor for Tesla. This is also official, posted in TradingView, posted in the credit spreads. This is a 385, 390 bear call spread, regular April 20th, 2018. Got a bull put spread, 285, 280 bull put. So that is it's a $100 condor. So we shall see. That's all the requests I had for today. Oh, I shouldn't say all of them. All the ones I got in time. So let's do this tomorrow. Got a nice long list. And here's the ones that are requested so far. NCLD, QD, GTXI, Under Armour, Fitbit again, CTLT, OKTA, MBD, Intel, Microsoft, Plains All-American, Allstate, TLYS, Starbucks, UMPQ, ABB, CF, Dick's Sporting Goods, McDonald's, Walmart, LNG, First Solar, British Petroleum, OLED, got Walmart on the list, Micron Technology, and SUN. And for Brad, because I love him, Apple. Making a new all-time high today. Also a potential weekly options newsletter to buy the dip, as most tech stocks. Looks very good. Just a lot of white candles, so we knew it was going to pull back, right? So, I mean, a little bit of a higher high, but, I mean, you'd have to expect that retest to come in after so many white candles, with the Qs being at an all-time high, gapping up. Same thing happened on Amazon. So very easy day to sell both Amazon and or Apple at open, with the Qs doing what they did today. So pretty much on all of those, obviously look to buy some form or some fashion of a dip and or bull put spreads or put sales. The premium is there, but yep, Apple bounced perfectly off of our pink line that Mr. Squiggles drew back on March 1st. This is the fourth wave. So this is the 1, 2, 3. Here comes the wave 4. And Ray's put sale at 170 should be fine for this week. And Victor has a 160. A lot of other traders trading Apple. Charles and a few other traders have some 185 covered calls for this week, which after today I think will be just fine. Folks from around the world, that's my time. And until next time, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. You guys rock.